Today I'm going to tell you about the most haunted high school in America. And when I tell you this high school is haunted, I mean it's easily seen over 20 deaths, and that's me being conservative. Now, before I tell you where this high school is, I need to give you a bit of a backstory because the roots of this high school run much deeper than the actual age of the high school itself. In fact, this is one of those places where the city where the high school is located in is way more haunted than the actual high school itself. Anyways, our story starts back in the 1600s, New England. We're in the middle of witch hysteria, and there is a poor girl who is accidentally and wrongfully accused of being a witch. Now, because the legal system was so good back then, she was offered a speedy trial. Was it fair? Absolutely not. She ended up being burned at the stake, but her father couldn't let that slide, knowing that she was innocent of these charges. So this poor girl's father, who allegedly practiced witchcraft himself, cursed the family that condemned her to that fate. Now, after experiencing years of tragedy that always ended up in a death by fire, this family decided to relocate in an attempt to escape this curse. Now, eventually members of this family would settle in Ohio, but the curse still managed to follow them. Realizing that they could not run the curse, although some did try, they ended up making this place their home. However, anywhere they went came their curse, and so weird things started happening in the town. Untimely deaths, sicknesses, illness, fires as usual, but eventually the town found its footing despite the curse and started to thrive a little bit. It never became a massive city, but it was cute, quaint suburbia. Well, if you can call it that. Unfortunately for this family, however, the curse also seemed to thrive, and it took out more and more members of this family, leaving very few alive. Now back to the school. Because the school is situated in this town with this curse, and all of these deaths have occurred around this family as a result, strange things actually started to happen in the town as well. Now, I don't know if the actual land itself is cursed. I think that's another story for another day, but this area is known to be a hotbed of paranormal activity. There have been psychos, there have been serial killers, there have been untimely deaths, there have been students murdered en masse, some on campus, some off campus, but the school itself has its fair share of ghosts. For example, in the late 80s, early 90s, a number of cheerleaders on this high school's cheerleading squad found themselves the victims of what's called the cheerleading curse. Now, this left several members of the cheerleading team dead in the most mysterious of circumstances. There was also an incident where a number of high school students were killed at their prom, leaving bodies everywhere. Not to mention, there are several stories of serial killers being on the loose, people assuming other students' identities and trying to take the lives of even more students. So I mean it when I say this high school has seen its fair share of death and violence. So you can imagine that given the number of deaths that have taken place at this school, that the students and townsfolk alike have seen their fair share of ghosts, spirits, specters, you name it. And the overall atmosphere of this high school is said to be extremely creepy, but alas, school spirit still prevails. So if you're wondering what the name of the most haunted high school in America is, I'm about to tell you. Now, if you guessed the famous Shadyside High, then you'd be correct. Shadyside High School has got to be the most haunted high school in all of fiction. Anyways, drop your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you're excited for the next iteration of Fear Street, if you liked Prom Queen, what books you're looking forward to seeing on screen, and I will see you guys in my next video.